Solasta, Crown of the Magister review. Solasta is one of the most pleasant surprises for me in 2021. The best I can describe Solasta is a mix of Wasteland 3 and Divinity Original Sin 2 with dice rolls. I expected a solid CRPG from early access, but man, we got a great one and it's a full release, so let's rate this game properly as it deserves. First section is the story. Story of Solasta is about saving the world of Solasta with the crown of the Magister. That's in short. If I say anything else, I'll spoil the story. What matters is its presentation with limited resources. From time to time, conversations are a bit cringy but funny. Writing is mediocre and there are no choices and consequences like in all other CRPGs. It's a linear line that you follow and enjoy the adventure. The idea behind the main storyline is very good, but its presentation is lacking a bit. 6 out of 10 for the story. Game bugs and optimization. Quite fast loading times, a lot of loading screens, very few bugs, and not a single glitch. Performance was great on ultra settings in 95% of time. Frame drops came only during abuse of light mechanics, fire, and water reflections, but it's not a big deal since it's a turn-based game. It's a very, very good for a new release, and it worked better than I hoped for on day one. 9 out of 10 for game bugs and optimization. Next section is game time. It took me 55 hours to beat the game on the hardest difficulty with all the side quests included. Don't let this time fool you, 10 hours were from early access of the game, so 55 hours is how long it lasted. If I played on, let's say, easier difficulties, I guess I would finish the game in less than 20 hours for sure. Alright. Replay value is there. DLCs are probably coming up. Dungeon Maker is there for mods. All in all, game time will get 9 out of 10. Game difficulty. I can speak only about Cataclysm difficulty. It was extremely hard and one of the hardest CRPGs I played in my life, and I loved it. I also heard that most of the people have problems of winning fights even on normal difficulty, and there are 4 difficulties to pick from. To compare, Cataclysm mod was harder than unfair difficulty for Pathfinder Kingmaker, or at least 3 times harder than Divinity Original Sin 2 on Tactician difficulty. 10 out of 10, they nailed it here. I enjoyed the challenge. Good job. Next section is maps and graphics. Huge, great looking world map of Solasta, as you can see here. There are tons of places to visit, and all of them feel distinct and unique. Minimap is freaking phenomenal, and it set a new standard in CRPGs. It's just amazing. I mean, look at it. It's amazing. The amount of detail on a minimap is just off the charts. The entire UI is phenomenal also. Clear inventory, clear journal, bestiary is amazing, everything is done great. Graphics also for indie game is just amazing. Diversity in maps is huge, areas are all distinct and unique. I can't praise this section enough. 10 out of 10 for maps and graphics. Gameplay, the most important part now. Is it fun? Yeah, it is. Is it immersive? Yeah, it is. So what do you do in this game? You will explore, loot, fight in turn-based mod, sneak, strategize, and enjoy the adventure. Combat is just great, it's challenging, every fight feels important and different. Change of tactics are required for every encounter. So what's bad then? Choices and consequences in conversation options are next to zero, same as with quests. If you're looking for a great turn-based combat, Solasta overachieves that. 9 out of 10 for gameplay. Leveling and itemization is the next section. Level cap, or better to say maximum level, is 10. Could have easily been 12. Every level feels important and extremely satisfying. You have 6 main classes with God knows how many subclasses. Cleric, Paladin, Wizard, Fighter, Rogue, and Ranger. You want to play as damage dealing paladin, it's there. You want to play as a support paladin, it's there too. You want to play as a sneak attack melee rogue, it's there. You want to play as a mix of a rogue wizard, it's there. I love races, classes, and subclasses in this game. Itemization is a bit broken on the other end. There is not enough gold in the game, in other words. Even if you 100% it all with all side quests, you won't be able to acquire all the fancy items in the game. So you will be forced into not very user-friendly crafting system to get your gear. Attunement on items is a great idea, but I can't help myself thinking how this game wanted to be at least 150 hours long with all the gear it provides and options how you want to build your party. It just feels unfinished. The game ends on level 10 with at least 80% of gear left behind. Such a huge potential with Solasta with limited resources, it makes me sad a bit. 8 out of 10 for leveling and itemization. NPCs and enemies is the next section. Tons of NPCs in the game. Most of them are there to give you your next objective and send you on your linear path. All are voice acted with in-your-face cutscenes. Enemies, they're just great, from skeletons and spiders to elementals, orcs, goblins, and dragons. Everything is covered. Monster designs are just phenomenal. Art is great, as you can see it right now. Bosses, they feel unique, and there are plenty of boss fights. 9 out of 10 for NPCs and enemies. Music and sound is the last section. Music is fine, main theme is great, sound effects are superb for dice rolls and combat, as well as clicking on items in your journal or in your inventory. Everything is voice acted, and that's a huge plus. Voice acting is mediocre though. 7 out of 10 for music and sound. Conclusion. We got 9 sections with 77 points, and that would be 8.5 out of 10 for Solasta, Crown of the Magister. If this game came with some huge budget, if it had money to pay for a good writer with good voice actors, if it had 120 hours campaign with choices and consequences, and kept all other aspects, it would easily be one of the best CRPGs ever. Now it's just a solid CRPG, one of the best and most challenging combat ever though. I hope that the devs will receive a lot of money so they can make Solasta 2. If they do, man, I believe they will make one of the best CRPGs in gaming history. There is a huge potential behind Solasta. I enjoyed every single minute of this indie masterpiece. It was a freaking blast. Should you buy the game? Of course, no need to wait for sale or whatever. You need to support the devs. Solasta overachieved with limited resources and eclipsed, like totally eclipsed, 90% of AAA titles that came out in the last 5 years or so. That says it all, I guess. Even with all of its flaws, it's still a phenomenal CRPG and the biggest surprise of 2021.